doors drop, grab your cuppa and tune in. We ain't playing games, this is where the real ones win. From Tazi to Tokyo, LA to Spain, we bounce like kangaroos high on caffeine. I'm Jeff Ross, the dad with a dream. Turn my kitchen bench into a live stream team. Used to be stuck, stressed, burnt and broke. Now I help legends rise, no scam, no joke. Cause I've been the funnel guy, SEO and ad tech. I've been the one chasing likes, living paycheck to paycheck. Now we teach what works, attraction and AI, so you can build freedom, no more get by. Whether you're a mom, a dad, or a freedom freak, sick of fake hype, you're done with the weak. We're building real brands, not some hype-filled scheme. We're teaching how to lead, live, and dream. It's not about Lambos or digital flex. It's about making memories, not just paychecks. You don't need fame, you need time that's free, and a business that runs without robbing your peace. So we teach the tools and the mindset shift, the social selling source that gives your fam a lift. From reels to DMs, we break it down clean, helping you serve with soul and build your dream team. Boom source, baby, that's the code we drop, helping hard-led legends rise to the top. We ain't just another guru with a mic, with a caffeinated crew who got your back right. Bounce like a root with a mission in mind, clarity, purpose, and community combined. It ain't just biz, it's a freedom plan. Laptop lifestyle, mate, that's where it began. So if you felt lost like no one gets you, trapped in a job that forgets to bless you, come hang with the tribe where we build and rise, where AI meets heart and we mobilize. Cause freedom ain't a fantasy, it's a fight. We hustle with heart till the timing's right. You don't need to go it alone. Join the zoo with the caffeinated kangaroos breaking through. This is the Laptop Lifestyle Show. Get it clear, where legends are made and doubts disappear. So grab your notepad, microbrew. It's time to bounce. Legend, the next hero is you. So let's bounce caffeinated kangaroo style straight into awesome town. You don't need to go it alone. Join the zoo with the caffeinated kangaroos breaking through. This is the Laptop Lifestyle Show. Get it clear, where legends are made and doubts disappear. So grab your notepad, microbrew. It's time to bounce. Legend, the next hero is you.
All right. It's Jeff Ross here, bouncing to your screen with another amazing interview here with my friend Alexander Oxford. Hey, do you like that little rap song I've just come up with?
I loved it.
Love AI. You really, really do. For helping us to bring out true expression. I love this line. It's the Laptop Lifestyle Show. Get it clear, where legends are made and doubts disappear. So grab your notepad, your mic, or your brew. It's time to bounce. Next hero is you. Let's bounce into caffeinated kangaroo style straight into awesome town. I think that sets up our conversation just absolutely brilliantly. And so we're talking about all things leadership, hero maker. Alexander, I'd just love you to introduce yourself to our audience and share a bit about your story in 2 minutes or less before we dive into the main interview today.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, for 4 decades, I've been researching, firstly myself, because I was debilitated with pain at the age of 12, and I had to really completely change the paradigm in which I was living in. I didn't know that I was changing any paradigms, but I had to make massive changes, and I didn't know what I was doing at the time and how impactful it was 4 decades down the track, because I was learning self-mastery. That was the big thing. I was learning how this amazing thing called the body worked. And to do that, I had to be in charge of my mind. I had to change massive decisions in my life as I was crawling with pain to go to the bathroom. That was a big pivotal moment in my life. From that moment on, my curiosity started to really spike up. And I found this when I started becoming mentored from others and looking for mentors to help me. They had the same curious mind to find out how stuff worked. They didn't want to be right. They wanted to know what was right. So therefore, their curiosity just kept going, and that instilled in me. And to this day, I'm always curious to find out how others work, how people are making their life work or not. And by doing that, people start discovering themselves and becoming self-masters. And then the mentorship just keeps going. And as we become self-masters, by default, we're helping other people. discover themselves. It just becomes this self-replicating system. I've never seen a mentor that hasn't been mentored themselves. They didn't find a group of people that had a massive influence, and now they want to do the same. It just becomes this paying forward things becomes a default mechanism.
Yeah, I love that, right? Because it's that legacy impact. It's we have to create a global impact. It's not about us. It's not about me anymore. It's about we, and how can we partner together and go climb the mountain together. I love that. But we talk a lot about in the background here about often what it's like to be or being a hero maker, right? Not just a hero. So I love for our audience to unpack this, and let's get into this. What does it mean to you to be that hero maker, and why do you believe that it is the future of leadership moving forward?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I found out very early that there was no one here to save me. Okay, so I know we like to watch hero movies, but I think it's a projection of what we want to be. We want to be our own hero. We don't want that person to save us. I think deep down inside, that's what we want to learn about ourselves. So the hero maker thing is more about helping that person go for a deep dive within themselves to really find out who they are. And the four things that I like to look at is, who are you? Number one, who are you? Not what are you, not what am I, but who are you? That's number one. Where are you? Now, the where part, and when are you? I say where and when because a lot of the times we get caught up that we're still living our past or we're living in our future. So where am I? Am I actually living in the present and paying attention to who I am, what I've created? Because when we do that, we can actually change. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Then the next two things. The next thing is what? What am I actually doing? When I'm doing what I'm doing, what is it that I'm actually doing? Am I fulfilling my purpose, or am I just moving in some kind of automatic pilot without questioning what I'm doing? Yeah. And then the next one is, for what purpose am I doing all this?
I think that's the most powerful question, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So who, where, what am I doing, and for what purpose? And once we start asking these questions, I think, first thing in the morning.
Yeah, it's a daily thing. It's a daily practice. We need to be asking these questions ourselves daily, moments during the day, right?
Yeah. And one of my great mentors being Bob Proctor. He always says, when you wake up in the morning, find at least 3 things that you're grateful for. And that became 10 things that I'm grateful for, because you start finding that regardless of where you are in your life, there's always something to be grateful for. And the only way you can do that is to be in the where am I and when am I? Am I actually living here right now, and paying attention to my surroundings and the things that I'm grateful for? I think the gratitude attitude does that. It brings us to that.
And one thing I love about you, Alexander, is you don't hold back. What you see is what you get. And, there's a lot of people in your space, a lot of thought leaders, a lot of coaches, whatever you want to call them, whatever labels they want to wear. But they only ever give the surface level, right? They don't give you the tools that you really need to go deep. And straight away, 3 minutes into this conversation, you've just given us like a really powerful tool to come into that space to I've heard about gratitude challenges. I've heard about, have an attitude of gratitude. But what you just gave us there was the reason why we need to have a gratitude. And straight away, you've just over-delivered. I love that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Jeff. You can actually see that. I don't like living in the surface because it has no meaning. It has no meaning. It's like the surface that we do is just the effects. And that effect has a whole trail, the whole train of that effect leads to a cause. And we have to live by that. So the cause and effect becomes one whole. That's the wholeness. It's not, they're not separate from each other.
No, not at all.
A lot of the times you're like, well, we've got to look for the cause. We've got to look for the cause like it's separate from the effect. No, well, the cause and effect is one whole action. They're not separate from each other. So as you're deep diving into your effect, by default, you're getting into the cause.
Yeah,
But
I
if you
love
just
that.
want to change the effect, then you're living in the surface. You're only living in effect. So you need to deep dive into it, and you find the train pretty easily if you start looking at things in that way.
Yeah. And like, you guys, this is the epitome of 7 hard leadership. Alexander, it's actually his birthday today. So happy birthday, Alexander. Thank you very much for spending some time here with us, just, leaning into your genius zone and your greatness. There's an event going on at the moment too. I'm not going to name names, not here to trash or bash anything, but there is an event going on at the moment. Some people have been getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. If you're in our space, you know what I'm talking about. And I see these events happening all the time. And a lot of it, people get a lot of excitement, a lot of hype, a bit of rah-rah. And that brings up our energy level and it gets us excited about things. It motivates us. But one thing I love about what you're doing, Alexander, is it's not just the surface level, is to go deep with people and really meet them where they're at and do that deep breakthrough transformational work. Like, I want to unpack this a little bit. I want to go into this space and identify these things that you stand for and you stand against and the real root foundation of it all and your why and your purpose. So let's unpack this. Let's go deep.
Absolutely. So I want to go back to my story, and my story was the story of pain. Now, we've been in, I don't like to use the word educated because it's not really much of an education. We've been indoctrinated that pain is the enemy. And we need to get rid of it. We need to rip it out. We need to chop it out. We need to get rid of it and suppress it. And without knowing that pain in itself is our body communicating to us. Now, I'm not sure what is more pure than that. Your body communicating to you. Now, if you think about the way we know what our body needs is through the communication process that our body gives us. How do we know that we need to go to the bathroom if we didn't get that that special message, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, how great your focus is. When you have to go, you have to go, because the battle between the mind and the body always wins. Okay, it always wins. And
it's really raw and vulnerable here, just to jump into that story there. I think it's really present to highlight your point. Now, this is something that not many people know about me, and it's something that used to be something that I used to be hide behind a lot, and I was very embarrassed. But I went to bed until I was 14. And that was my body, like, listening to that side of things, right? My body not responding to the signals because I was such a deep sleeper in that space. So the body won, right? And
the body always wins,
it highlights that example.
And the thing is, the more we silence it, the louder it screams. And that's the big thing. And you have a look at the way we are as humans. When we communicate to someone,
the louder it screams.
When we talk to somebody and somebody doesn't listen to us, what is it instinctively we try and do? We try and raise our voice. Maybe the person that hears okay, let's go louder, let's shout, right? And if your frustration kicks in, you end up in an argument, and then you find out you don't know why. But what was happening there is that we were trying to communicate to somebody else. Now, there's no different to the body communicating to us. The body will communicate to us if there's something happening. Now, to silence that, think about that. If you're trying to communicate to something to someone and that person wants to shut you down and completely silence you, how would you respond to that? It's either, okay, I'm done, I'm out of here. Okay, that's called being unconscious, right? in the body's context. Or you're going to present yourself more. You're going to be louder. You're going to be doing different things. You want to get that message through. Now, it's the same thing with the body. Now, if we're trying to suppress ourselves, okay, because of the body signals, because it's inconvenient for us, we've got to start paying attention to, what am I actually doing? What am I really, really doing? I'm actually telling myself to shut up. Now,
so the body's going to get louder.
Well, exactly. Now, you want to ask yourself, what's this an example of? Where else am I telling myself to shut up? Have I been told as a kid that I need to shut up and be quiet? And is that projecting on to other parts of your life? And this is the deep dive that we need to go through, is that what is it that you're actually saying to yourself? Now, the thing is, this affects us as leaders, because this mechanism of shutting up, or this mechanism of not expressing yourself fully, the more you allow your body to express, the more you allow yourself to express. This is part of self-mastery. As soon as we shut ourselves down, there's something else that's you're shutting down. It's not going to be just not affecting you. It's not just this part of the body that I'm shutting down. Okay, we live our lives so much in parts, and that's purely the indoctrination that we've had from day zero to now. It's my shoulder, it's my toe, it's my knee, it's my this, it's my that. It's the relationship I have with my partner. It's the relationship I have with someone. It's the bully's fault. We compartmentalize so many things. And when I do breakthroughs with people, there are no parts. Everything affects everything else.
Cause and effect.
And it's everything in your body is affecting something else. You can't lift your arm like this without other parts of the body being involved to lift this arm like this. You're just not aware of it consciously.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Our subconscious, are we the puppet master of our lives, or is the subconscious the puppet master?
100%. What we do consciously is here with, we come up with thoughts and inspiration. We come up with ideas. This is what the great thing about our consciousness. Our consciousness is here to be inspired. However, our body is the thing that needs to do the behavior. So do we want to pay attention to the very thing that's creating the action for us to have the life that we truly want? Or do we want to shut it down?
I love it.
And that's a big thing, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's where a lot of breakthrough is definitely, it's the awareness first, right? They say in Alcoholics Anonymous, the first step to recovery is awareness. And so that's one of the things I love that you're bringing to the surface is the awareness, but you're not leaving people there, right? You're taking them on that journey, and you're doing life with them, and you're mentoring people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We want to mentor them because it's just an example of how are they not expressing the life that they truly want. And a lot of people, you ask, what is it that you truly want? And a lot of people say, I don't know. I really don't know. I've never been asked that question. Or they have this belief that if I go after what I want, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah. So
because
let's talk to this. Let's talk to the world of instant gratification. Like, I do X, Y, Z, and I get X, Y, Z result now. And the life messy journey together, right? Mentorship is it's a long-term journey. It's having that safe space to go through the breakdowns, to have the breakthroughs. It's mentorship. So let's talk to this community, our audience here, and help them and change their story so they can change their lives. Yeah. Why do you feel that we all need mentors in our lives? I think I've just summed up why I do, but what's your thoughts around that? And let's go deeper.
Well, the thing is, a great mentor will ask you the questions that you're probably not paying attention to yourself, and that you're not asking yourself. Now, the quality of your life,
because they understand they need the questions to ask, right?
Yeah, because the thing is, we're not here to offer the advice of how you should live your life. We're here to ask the questions so you can figure out exactly your purpose, exactly what you want to create. Because as soon as a mentor's giving you advice on how you should live, they're probably the mentor's probably telling themselves this. It's advice
my understanding is if a mentor gives you all the answers, essentially they're save and rescuing you, right?
Yeah.
Instead of you having to save and rescue yourself.
Yeah. One of my great mentors asked me, always said, there is no advice and advice worth giving. That's all for you. People don't need to add any more vices to their lives, especially yours. So stop projecting your BS and start asking the right questions to bring out their BS so they can now live a life with purpose.
It's what's the saying is get rid of our BS so we can change our BS. Get rid of our bullshit so we can change our belief system.
Exactly. And that's the transformation of BS, yeah?
Turn bullshit into diamonds. That's what we're doing here.
Absolutely. But you have to remove that and replace it with diamonds. A lot of people think they're alchemists and try to change that into. And that's where it becomes your mind starts. We say our mind messes with us because we want to, as I can't remember one of the bodybuilding mentors. He goes, you can't change crap into gold, right? So stop doing that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
stop
about
expecting lemons to grow from pear trees.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of times we try and do.
Yeah, it is.
Because
I'm
we're
big
changing the effects. We're changing the effects and not the soil. And that's the big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So what do you believe are the most underrated qualities of true great leaders in today's fast-paced, influence-driven world?
Is that they can do whatever they want to do. Is that we can do whatever we want to do. That's the most underrated thing, is that we think we need to believe in ourselves. All we have to be is ourselves. And the belief part, this is the thing. If you don't have total faith, you have to believe it. And that's a big, big thing. When you have total faith that you're here to fulfill your purpose, you don't have to believe it anymore. You can get rid of that belief and just live with your total purpose. And that becomes a huge, huge shift in paradigms. Because a lot of the times we think that we need to change a limiting belief into an empowering belief. And sometimes it's one of the steps. There's no doubt about that. But the ultimate step is having true faith that you're here to fulfill a purpose. You're here for something greater than just you.
Mm.
And that's that faith of the inspirational thoughts that you get is aligned to your purpose.
Something that's bigger than you when you understand your purpose and you're aligned. And I love that.
Yeah. And that's what we want to find in people. That's what we want to go for, that deep dive inside. Because if we just focus on the surface problems and we just focus on, let's just change this surface problem here, what will happen is that surface problem would turn into another one. We're just going to be laterally chunking into another one, into another one, into another one. Just like when someone says, well, I need to change my partner. And when I change my partner, everything will be fine. When I change my job, everything will be fine. When I change my boss, everything will be fine.
I'll move interstate. I'll move from Grafton, New South Wales to Tasmania. Yeah. Everything will be fine. No, it was not.
Exactly. But one thing I like to always say is that wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
You can't run away from yourself.
Yeah. I had to learn that the hard way.
And we're just going to repeat the same things over and over. If we come from the same approach.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen people go into relationships with each other and just they turn the relationship into their old one, even though they're with new people.
Well, it's today's world, right? When you've got third, fourth, fifth marriages going on, and they're trying to find the right person to fix them. And look, I was guilty of doing that in the past with Sarah in our early marriage. Like I thought she could fix problems in me. I realized I had to wake up to myself, and I had to realize that I had to get out what I call the drama triangle and position myself as a person who wants to grow and mature versus trying to be fixed.
Yes, exactly. And that's a big mentality. A lot of people want to come, they just want to be fixed. And like, what does that really mean? Be fixed. Yeah,
be fixed. Yeah. Are you broken in the first place? I had to realize I wasn't broken in the first place. I just had a few wounds. I had to, look at healing, but and still on that journey, but I wasn't broken.
Yeah.
So Alex, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. All good.
So you built the mind paradigm to really help people develop high impact coaching and leaders in this space to help to solve a problem that you saw, to be part of the solution in this whole conversation that we're having, right? Yeah. So what are some of the most common mindset traps you see holding people back from stepping into their full potential? I think we're touching the surface on this conversation, but let's go a bit deeper.
Yeah, look, I've been a coach, or whatever you want to call it, a self-mastery mentor, as I like to talk about, for almost 3 decades now. Now, what I've noticed is the old school training that we've had was really about deep diving and frequent and consistently continuously doing your training. Like you're always a practitioner. To be a master, you always have to be a practitioner. You always have to be a student. Now we've been told through great marketing. Okay, and I say great marketing because there's a lot of great marketers out there that want to turn you into coaches.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if they want to turn you into coaches, but they're selling coaching programs. Okay?
Well, that's the economic engine of their business model.
And the thing is, if they discover who they truly are, they can discover that they're amazing, amazing marketers. Now, in the old school, a great marketer would go out and find amazing practitioners or amazing trainers and market them, and they come up with some kind of a great deal. Now it's like, well, bugger that. I've got this course in script form, and I've got a few videos. Now I'm going to be selling this course, and now instantly a person's going to become a coach. Now that doesn't. I've met so many people that have been certified this way, have no idea what to do, and it's not it's not their fault. It's that there's no deep diving. Okay, now you can get that, and now the mentoring process is about really discovering what do you do with all this stuff. You got these tools. What do you do with them?
Yeah,
and that's what the mind paradigm has been about. Number one, let's focus on your mastery, but in regards to yourself, and then number two, let's utilize that for you to become a great mentor, to be able to now replicate the things that you've gone through, the transformations that you've gone through. We break them down so you know how to do it yourself. And that's not just an instant thing. That's something that we need to master. And to master, we have to bring out the student within us.
Yeah.
And if you don't bring out the student in you, you just bring out that you are the hero, then you can do all these amazing things, you break down because you're not here to go to a deep dive. Now, when you're saying what you're saying, what is it that you're saying when you're saying that? So what we want to do is go to those deep dives of where these words are coming from. They're coming from some kind of idea. Where does the idea come from? So we go really deep. So therefore, when you ask something to somebody else, you're coming from a place for their journey, not for your journey.
Yeah, that's true. Legacy impact there.
Now, how many psychologists have come through a breakthrough themselves? I studied psychology for myself, and I became a psychologist for myself. Okay, and that, and then from that, when I discovered my transformation, I became a great psychologist. Now, when you hear that, we are in it for ourselves, to master ourselves first. So therefore, that's the most important thing. So therefore, when you're working with someone, you're not going to project your stuff and try and solve your problems.
You can't be a guide on the journey if you haven't been to the top of the mountain, right? So you only position yourself as a guide, as a hero maker, if you've been a hero yourself.
Yeah.
So I totally get that self-mastery conversation. But that's where a lot of people, they stop, they stumble, they don't go further, they don't go deeper.
Yeah. And it's learning the context of it. Really, really learning the context of mentorship and coaching. And
well, it's this whole conversation from good to great. You know, it's that going from just being mediocre, well, not being lost in the crowd. You know, there's every man and his dog is a life coach. Every man and his dog is an AI guy. you know, that type of thing. To finding mastery in that, self-mastery in that. But it doesn't stop there. The journey keeps going.
It keeps going. Exactly.
Going deeper. It's like an onion. There's layers to it.
Yeah. Well, we're still here. That's the thing. If you're still here, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot more to learn.
The job's never done.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why a lot of people say, I thought I got through this, and it's all coming up again. It's up at a different level of vibration. Anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, all these emotions, they feel like emotions. Okay. So a lot of times a lot of people think that once I deal with my anger, I'm never going to feel angry ever again. Well, that's turning into a zombie. That's
emotions. Apathetic. Yeah.
So, and this is where It's so important. The mentorship is so important because a lot of people think this way. A lot of coaches think the person shouldn't be feeling anger ever again. The person shouldn't be feeling fear ever again. But the thing is, these emotions are actually normal things that we feel. The problem ones are the ones that we've repressed.
Yeah.
The unresolved ones. They're the negative ones. Like anger is not a negative emotion unless you've suppressed it. And you become aggressive. Yeah.
And someone who has anger issues, like some of the thing I've had to really deep dive into this space and had to realize that, you know, I'm an Enneagram 8, and that's in the anger triad, and realizing that, you know, that anger is in its good form for me. It comes out as passion. It comes out as righteousness. It comes out as like, I'm making a stand and I'm going to defend my flock type anger, sort of thing.
But the thing is, you learn from that. Yeah.
I learned to harness it. But see, if it's in that repressed, if it's in that, like, I can't talk about it mode or something like that, it's behind closed doors mode, you know, that's where it turns into toxic. And I can be very verbally abusive to the ones that are close to me. And I have been in the past. And for the last decade, I've been making sure I make spaces for forgiveness to grow, but I've had to own it. I haven't had to repress it. I've had to own it and realize it's a part of me.
Yeah. And the thing is, with any suppression, it's learning how to express it. That's one of the biggest things. Every time we become emotional, it's our resourcefulness teaching us on how to be able to respond to this situation in a more resourceful way. So therefore, the next time you approach it with the lesson you've learned, not the anger.
Yeah.
And that's
I did anger management classes. They did nothing for me. They actually made me worse.
Because you don't want to manage it. You want to learn from it.
Yeah, right. So learning to embrace it and to be part of it and to use it as fuel for the fire, but also it's about making sure you put boundaries around it. So strong boundary, soft heart, conversation. Yeah, look, there's a lot in this. We'll have to come back to this conversation another time. For this
there's huge. That's why my personal breakthroughs, they go for quite some time. And in the Mentors Academy, a part of the Mind Paradigm, we actually go through. I've got a whole series that people go through a deep dive into for themselves, instead of having to spend a lot of money doing a one-on-one. And that's if the person can self-master their emotions, if the person can self-master how to do it, awesome.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
What I love what you're creating with the Mind Paradigm, Alexander, is that safe space for people to grow, to go through. Like, it's, you know, we talk about the butterfly versus caterpillar transformation, right? The caterpillar versus butterfly, sorry, dyslexia. You know, in that whole process is that cocoon, you know, and the cocoon, you know, the caterpillar gets broken down to the base DNA gooey level for it to be built back up into that beautiful butterfly.
Yeah.
And what you're creating here with the Mind Paradigm is that cocoon.
Yeah.
Is that safe space for people to feel seen, to feel valued, but to create that people can be broken down, to be built back up, to have those breakthroughs. Mate, it's your birthday today. So if you could leave our audience here with one leadership lesson as your legacy gift to this generation of leaders that's coming up, what would that be? Well,
if I can go to, like, I teach the 8 keys of optimal mental performance. Now, the first key that I like to teach, and I like to leave the audience with this, is asking yourself, and I want everyone to imagine this. If right now, all of your desires, everything that you thought you wanted, you actually have right now, like the relationship, the things that you think are important, the house, the car, all those things, you've achieved the career status that you wanted, the business that you actually want. I want you to really think about that. Every single thing that you wanted, you've actually achieved right now. I want you to step into that and notice how you feel. Do you feel accomplished or do you feel empty? If you're feeling accomplished, now you know this is the state, that you need to be in for the rest of your life, and don't let anything else distract you from that. If you're feeling empty, there's a breakthrough. You need to start asking yourself, are these things really the things that I want? Or is there something of more substance that I'm here to do? Okay. So if you're ready there, if you already know what you really want, step into that. Stay in that, because everything we want to do is to become the person that has all these things. But the car becomes meaningless when you become the person that can have any car you want. It doesn't become any, there's no, so once you get that and you step into that state of being fully accomplished, nothing is stopping you from feeling that right now and living that life right now. Nothing is stopping you other than your mind. Because if you can feel it now, you can feel it forever. Come from that, because that's your purpose.
Right. Love it. Oh, Alexander, we need to do more of these lives. I think this is brilliant. This has been an amazing interview. So we will come up to it with a plan here and bring more of this to you. I think this just positions Alexander as that hero maker in his genius zone. He has such a gift to be able to share with the world. And it's my absolutely privilege and blessing to lock arms with you, to help you to amplify your voice, to help you to expand your impact. And so we've got 2 events coming up to talk about just right now that is all about that purpose, to expand our impact, to have a bigger, wider global impact on the world. Yep. So we've got the Leadership Week coming up on Friday, May 23rd. And so this partnership with the Los Angeles Tribune. They've given us a platform, a space. You know, Mo Rock, the CEO of the Los Angeles Tribune, his vision is to lift the voice up for the voiceless, to have a global impact, to bring in positive media, to lift up thought leadership, to leave a legacy impact on the world. And I absolutely love what Mo's doing in that space, and so 100% on board with it. And so as the Australian New Zealand ambassador for the Los Angeles Tribune, I've been given the honor, the privilege, the blessing to host the Australian Leadership Show. And so we're talking all things leadership. And as you can see, Alexander is just an amazing wealth of knowledge and source of wisdom in this space. I can't wait to bring him on to one of our panel conversations with that. So let me just quickly drop the link there. Whilst I'm doing that, Alexander, what are you most excited about with the Australian Leadership Show coming up on May 23rd?
Oh, look, to be involved with other leaders that are making massive impact and helping people transform. For me, that's the gratitude goes beyond words, and to be part of that is just phenomenal. I'm very grateful to be invited as a guest panelist. Really,
yeah. That's what it's all about, right? It's about that servant-hearted leadership impact.
Yeah.
To be able to help others to step up and rise. And, you know, to be a floodlight, not the spotlight, to be that light on the hill, to shine, you know, the pathway forward, to clarity. You know, that's what I personally love about it. So, look, I've just dropped in the comments there to save your seat. If you want to make sure you keep up to date with it all, it's a free broadcast. It'll be hosted on the Los Angeles Tribune social pages, on their Facebook page, their LinkedIn, YouTube, all over the different socials. So you can grab the link there here to save your seat. It's LATAustralianshow.com. And so we're going to be hosting a few of these shows once every 90 days is the plan for Australian marketplace. I've actually partnered up with Michael Silvers in this space. We've got actually 18 different shows coming up between now and the end of the year. So talk about bringing a voice to the voiceless, a global stage to be able to help others to step up. So this one's all about leadership, and really looking forward to that. But Alexander, we've also got something else coming up on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
You want to unpack what that's all about?
Well, Tuesday night is really unpacking what the mind paradigm is all about, and why I'm doing the mind paradigm the way I'm doing it. It's really understanding what is leadership all about, what is self-mastery all about, and how you can come into one of our programs at next to nothing, really, to be able to be mentored by me in this program, and also giving you an opportunity to be able to become a mentor yourself utilizing our system and be able to create a side hustle for yourself, as a lot of people like to call it, or a residual income, creating a legacy for yourself. So we're here to unpack that as well. And I'd love for you guys to come on board and really listen up to what we have to offer.
Yeah, so you can come join us on Tuesday night if you go to go.themindparadigm.au/event-registration. I'll put the link there in the comments for you to be able to come register so you don't miss your seat for that. So highly recommend you come along and explore what the Mind Paradigm is all about and how you can be one of our 100 founders to help us to spread the word. We've got a really awesome incentivized referral program in place to be able to help expand the message, to expand the impact, to lock arms with those who want to go run with us. And that's what it's really all about at the end of the day. So, Alexander, I love this interview. There's been so much gold in here, so much wisdom dropped today. Mate, happy birthday. And
thank you so much.
Really great day with your family, celebrating you because you are worth it.
What a great way to celebrate your birthday, by giving. Yeah, that's just awesome.
I love it. Love it.
Awesome.
Hard leadership. Well, thank you very much for your time. I'll catch you later, Alexander, and I'll just do a quick wrap up here. But, mate, thank you very much for bringing your wealth of knowledge, your wisdom here to this platform. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Jeff Ross, the Laptop Lifestyle Dad. And I'm going to see you later in our next one. To stay caffeinated, stay legendary, and bye for now.